Hello everyone, this is Joe of Joe's Gunpla here with another video, and this is going to be something, well, completely different from what my channel is normally used for. I was nominated recently for the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, and I did some research to find out what exactly ALS is, because it's been, clogging up the news feeds in social media for about 2 weeks now. And there have been some very informative videos and some very entertaining videos, and I just wanted to kind of talk about ALS before I actually, take care of business. ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, stands for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. And I might have butchered that first word, but up until doing the research, I didn't even know what ALS stood for. Amyotrophic is a Greek term. Greek comes from the Greek language. The first part, A, means no or negative. Myo refers to muscle, and trophic means nourishment. So it literally breaks down into no muscle nourishment. And when your muscles don't get any nourishment, they atrophy or they waste away. The second word, lateral, is a way to identify the areas in a person's spinal cord where portions of the nerve cells that signal and control the muscles are located. And basically with this disease, those parts of the spinal cord degenerate, and it leads to scarring and hardening, which is where the sclerosis comes into play. So basically what happens is the nerves and the neurons and the neuropathways basically harden up, and they can't send signals to the muscles, and when your muscles aren't used and they're not getting the nourishment they need, they break down and they become smaller and weaker, and eventually you can't move. And it starts, with weaknesses in your arms and legs, and affects your speech, it affects your ability to swallow, and it leads to paralysis. It's a devastating disease. And it only affects, if I remember the numbers correctly, about 30,000 people in America. And even when something that devastating is happening to people, if there's no money in it, major pharmaceutical companies aren't going to invest in a cure or treatment or anything like that, because there's no profit in it, which I think is disgusting. So the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, it's been done by celebrities and people all around the world, and it's been a fantastic way to raise awareness about ALS, and it's gotten the word out there, it's gotten money to ALSA, and hopefully they can use that money to research the disease more, understand it better, find a way to combat it, and hopefully cure it, so people don't have to live with that anymore. Because it doesn't just affect, obviously, the person who has it, but it affects the loved ones of that person who has that disease. When you can't move, you can't take care of yourself. And what's really sad is some people have this disease and they don't even have family to help take care of them, and it's just extremely debilitating. Can you imagine, as someone in the modeling community, we build models, we use our hands, we use fine motor skills to get the details right, and to sand and clip and trim parts, and we couldn't do any of that with that disease. We wouldn't be able to enjoy our hobby. Further than that, we wouldn't be able to feed ourselves or bathe ourselves, and eventually we would literally just lie in a bed, unable to communicate, waiting to die. And that's one of the saddest things to think about, just waiting to die. and not being able to do anything about it. And that's what this disease does to people. That's what this disease does to people who love the people with that disease. They're just waiting for that family member or their friend to waste away. So I will be donating to the cause. And I hope, even if you haven't been challenged or nominated for the Ice Bucket Challenge, that you go to alsa.org/donate and give something. Anything. Everyone's got $1. Give them $1. Next time you're going through, the drive-thru at McDonald's, instead of getting your McDouble, take that $1.50 or whatever it is and give it to ALSA. I do have a few minor grievances with the challenge itself. Last year, in one of my classes, I wrote like a 6-page paper on freshwater shortages across the globe. And here in America, we take advantage of the fact that we have a few bucks to go to a store and buy a couple bags of ice and a plastic bucket, and we dump the ice in the bucket and we fill the rest of it with water from a hose because we have access to fresh water like there's no tomorrow. And we can dump it on our heads and think nothing of it. We're not wasting water, we're raising awareness. But in a lot of places around the world, they don't have that luxury. And to think of anywhere in the world where fresh water is a luxury is, I think, just as, if not more devastating than the disease. And I'm not belittling the disease. It's awful. It's heartbreaking to think anyone has to go through that. But there's 783 million people, that's roughly 1 in 9 people in this world, that don't have access to clean, safe water. 37% of those people live in sub-Saharan Africa. 80% of illness in developing countries, what we call third world countries, is due to lack of clean water. Clean water allows mothers to raise families. It allows people to start profitable businesses. It allows villages to grow crops, to feed themselves and trade, furthering their economic development. And every day in rural communities, poorer urban centers throughout sub-Saharan Africa, hundreds of millions of people suffer from lack of access to clean, safe water. And women and girls especially bear the burden of walking miles at a time to gather water from streams and ponds, which are full of waterborne diseases. And that's making them and their families sick. Water sources are often far from the safety of their villages and leaves these women and children at risk of harassment and sexual assault and God knows what. Illnesses from drinking dirty water and the time lost fetching it robs entire communities of their futures. Hope is put on hold in over half of the developing world's primary schools without access to water and sanitation. When students are freed from gathering water, they can return to class. And with proper and safe latrines and bathrooms, girls stay in school throughout their entire teenage years. Safe water, clean hands, healthy bodies, time lost to sickness is reduced, and people can get back to the work of lifting themselves out of poverty. Clean water is essential to getting developing worlds out of the holes that they're in. So, that's my mini rant on fresh water. And in addition to donating to ALS.org, I encourage everyone to go to thewaterproject.org/donate and give just as much to them. So, without further ado, while I'm still going to be donating, I was nominated by a very good friend's son. He's only 4 years old. His name is Aiden. And just because I'm donating doesn't mean I'm gonna shirk out on the challenge, because who am I to let down a 4-year-old boy who wants to dump ice cold water on someone's head? So, without further ado, this is the Ice Bucket Challenge. Donate to alsa.org/donate and thewaterproject.org/donate. And here we go.
Go, Aiden. You didn't even get his hair wet.
Okay, I was nominated twice by my little buddy Aiden here and his dad, Travis. So, I nominate Dave Hovis, Stephen Williams, Dustin Wilkinson, Louis Dominguez, Ken Baldoff, my boss at work, and Katsume Kawaguchi. Until next time, guys. See you later.